one name, usually you're a guitar god. At least that's true for Slash. Yes, we are going to talk about the habits of Slash, not how to sound exactly like him guitar tone wise, not how to play exact licks of Slash. In all my habits lessons, I go into what makes these awesome guitar players so awesome, and yet how you can take what they do and apply it to your own guitar playing so you can still sound like you, but have some infusion of guitar greatness in your playing. So in my opinion, Slash has one of the best bending techniques I have ever heard. Seems like every one of Slash's guitar solos that are memorable have at least one epic, glorious bend, and his technique, his vibrato, is what contributes to making those bends so awesome. So I think the best way to practice bending, and this is actually taken from an interview he did that I saw years ago, but this is actually a technique that Joe Satriani uses and other guitar players who are great. Basically, you take a note and then you bend up to that note from a whole step below. And then you add the vibrato after you've gotten to that pitch. And you can do this on any string, so just take a note, go down a whole step, and bend up to it. Now the mechanics of bending are as such. Basically, if you are on the E, A, or D strings, you will bend down towards the floor. And if you're on the G, B, or E strings, you'll bend up towards the ceiling. So here's a bend on the B string. And as you notice, there is a very even vibrato. Slash's vibrato was real even, so it wasn't crazy like Marty Friedman's, that kind of thing. Once he makes it up to the pitch, it's about a quarter tone wavering, so you really want to nail that pitch and not really depart from it too far. And the speed of the vibrato is also important. Slash has the most even, like medium, basically perfect vibrato. He doesn't go too fast, so this would be too fast. That's too fast, and then depending on the tempo of the song, you know, it might change, but generally his speed of his vibrato is like a medium pace. So we have that. Now Slash is of the mindset that you should have a claw that kind of contracts when you bend. So if you take a look at my hand here as I bend, I am shaking the note using this pivot. So my thumb is acting as a brace and kind of pivoting my finger at the top of that pitch. So the next habit of Slash, I think, is what makes his guitar playing so timeless. Is he's really a classic rock guitar player, you know, as far as the scales he chooses to use, but the pentatonic vibe that he gives off is really modern. So he was like one of the pioneers for modern guitar players, even in a classic 80s era. So basically what I mean by that is he would take the pentatonic scale, and instead of doing a normal run like this, he would do something more creative, but still in that vein, like this. So he's adding notes from not only the natural minor scale, but also blues notes in the blues scale. So those notes include like the flat 5, major 6, and the 9. So all those included in the pentatonic scale. That was all in Slash's wheelhouse, and he was one of the first guitar players to really make that a habit of his guitar playing and make that a style that obviously many guitar players would soon adopt. So I think his expression through extra notes in the pentatonic scale, but still having that traditional bluesy vein in the classic rocker that he was, really differentiated him and projected him to guitar god status. It really opened up a new sound to the listener's ear when they're used to hearing, but then Slash goes, So I think I've come up with a custom scale for us, and we'll call it the slash scale. It sounds like this, starting on E. The next habit of Slash, I think, was his tendency to use double stops over power chords. Now, some of his most iconic riffs, of course, use some power chords, but I think when he was combining rhythm and lead guitar was when it really stood out. So maybe your tendency, if you're playing a blues or over a blues, would be to play single notes, right? But Slash might try something like this. So using double stops obviously isn't just habitual in Slash's guitar playing, but it is something that stands out to me personally when he's getting into his real hot zone. When it comes to guitar soloing, he always tends to, whether he means to or not, hit these double stops in the pentatonic or bluesy, the Slash scale as we called it. And that leads us to the final habit I'm going to get into of Slash's, which is his tendency to favor hammer-ons and pull-offs over alternate picking. He wasn't like a crazy shred god like Randy Rhoads style. He was definitely a pioneer of the hammer-on and pull-off techniques in a bluesy context. So mastering Slash's habits definitely starts with Slash's signature vibrato. Right in the middle there, and it then follows down to the special customized Slash scale. And then using double stops within that tonality. And then finally peaking at top speeds with his hammer-on pull-off Insanity.